I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been called much worse.
We are about to find out what the fertilization presidency might actually look like. The Trump administration is considering a range of policy changes as it prepares to release a highly anticipated report on combating infertility. But exactly what those new policies are unclear. We do know that the White House is consulting with infertility doctors and conservative policy groups, some of which are openly skeptical of IVF, and that one key player has been excluded from the discussions. The American Society for Reproductive Medicine, the nation's leading IVF medical and advocacy organization. Its chief advocacy advisor put it bluntly to the New York Times, "We traffic in a currency that seems to be of little interest to the administration. Expertise, experience, and know-how." Joining us now, New York Times reporter Caroline Kitchener. Caroline, so he wants to promote this. Does that mean that it's going to be protected? There will be federal dollars and insurance companies directed to make sure they cover this procedure?
We have no idea what this report is going to say, and everybody is really eagerly anticipating what the White House is going to recommend. What we do know is that they are meeting, as you said, with a really wide variety of stakeholders on this issue. So they're meeting with people that own fertility clinics, they're meeting with IVF doctors, but they are also meeting with conservative policy groups that are, that are skeptical of IVF. And what I've heard about these meetings is that they are very specific and they're wide-ranging, and the people that are focusing on this report, they do seem to be really seriously considering certain moves that could really expand IVF access for a lot of Americans. But we just don't know for sure what they're going to do.
The CDC's IVF team was gutted in April.
That's true. And I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about that and what that means for what this report could say. I think that has been a really, that's been really glaring and top of mind for a lot of the people that are going into the White House and discussing, what is the future of IVF when those cuts were made.
There's a tension between what Donald Trump was promoting on the campaign trail, but also religious groups and some anti-IVF groups who say that it's just the procedure involves too much discard. That's not the right way to put it, but the embryos that are not used get discarded, and that's killing a child. So how does that tension play out?
It's a really tough issue for a lot of conservatives because IVF is so widely popular. 7 in 10 Americans support access to the procedure. And yet, as you said, Christian conservatives, they are very uncomfortable with the fact that IVF routinely involves the loss of human embryos. So what you have seen are some, very prominent conservative policy groups pushing for an alternative approach. They are pushing for something called restorative reproductive medicine, which is a sort of MAHA-aligned approach to infertility that really pushes examining what proponents of this call the root causes of infertility and leaving IVF as a last resort. So that is something that we could see in this report.